Hey, Slick Talkers, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. And I know that if you love this show, you'll also love my morning show called Good Morning Hospitality with my co hosts Michael Golden and Brandy Canali, as we spend 30 minutes every Monday morning to dive into the industry's top latest news and trending topics. So go check it out on wherever you find your podcasts at Good Morning Hospitality. And you can live stream with us on Monday mornings on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. Now, I hope you enjoy this episode. Hey, Slick Talkers, welcome back to this very, very special episode of Slick Talk, the Hospitality Podcast. But guess what? I'm actually not here to talk about Slick Talk. I'm here to pretty much share something with you that I want you to check out. And if it's not something that's for you, then it might be someone that you know who could really benefit from this. So make sure you grab the links and, of course, share what I'm about to tell you. So if I could get a drum roll, please, because we are announcing the official first hospitality.fm original podcast called the Vacation Rental Micro School Podcast, or VRMS for short. So, what is VRMS and why is Hospitality.fm making their own originals? Well, it's kind of been something that we've wanted to do since we started the network. I knew there was a lot of podcasts that we could bring under our umbrella or under our brand that are already existing and hitting listeners like you and many others that may have never heard of Slick Talk or any other show in our network. But there are gaps. We notice that there's a lot of interview podcasts. There's a lot of basically similar setups, if that makes sense. And we do realize that sometimes people's attention spans can't really last through a 30 to 60 minute long episode. And sometimes just hearing one episode a week isn't really enough either. So, what we decided to do was to create a micro podcast where basically it's going to be no longer than 10 minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minute over, just depending on the topic and the guest. But it's also going to be a daily podcast. So before I spoil too many details on this episode, I'm actually going to plug in the trailer right here so you can hear it for yourself. This podcast will be launching in January of 2023, so right around the corner. And I wanted to get this to you, hit the airwaves before Christmas and all the holiday times where people get distracted. And rightfully so, you're spending time with family for the holidays. But long story short, we've always wanted to create an original, and this just felt right. It felt like it was a great barrier to entry. It is hitting a couple things that aren't out there already in the marketplace for podcasts in our space. And so a daily micro show. It's only one season right now. We are going to use this pretty much as a test. If you love this show, then you should let us know, because then we'll start making season 2 once we get done with season 1. We are in the production phase of season 1 at this moment, and once we get it all finished up, we will have it ready to go for you in the new year. And I can't wait, because it's going to be about 20 episodes. And with that, you're going to have a lot of action-packed content. So this is something you could take notes on. You can always revisit. And the whole point is to have the basics and the 101 of vacation rentals for season 1. And then season 2, 3, 4, and beyond, depending how this goes, will cover more in-depth topics with the nitty-gritty details that we all love. So get ready for the official trailer of the VRMS podcast in 3, 2, 1. Hospitality has changed so much in the last 2 to 3 years that it's almost impossible to keep up. Well, there's now a podcast for that. Yes, you're right, a podcast. If you're listening to this right now, you're about to experience the first micro school podcast for vacation rentals. In this podcast, I'm your host, Will Slickers. This season is going to be the first and probably only season that I will host. We are going to bring daily content at a micro scale. What does that mean, you ask? That means we are going to do daily episodes that are no longer than 10 minutes long. If we go over that, I'm so sorry. I promise it'll only be about 2 minutes over. Every week, you're going to hear from special guests, and we are going to publish daily content from the conversations around a specific theme, whether it's safety, technology, hospitality, or just operations in general. You're going to hear from the best of the best, and I promise you that. I've been particular about who I'm inviting on and who's going to be on this first season. Now, with a daily podcast, this is going to take a lot of effort on our part, but it's also going to take a lot of effort. Actually, it's going to take no effort on your part, because all you have to do is hit play, take some notes, and come back if you ever need it again. This first season will be about 30 episodes long, and then after that, we'll take a short break to reassess and figure out where we're going to go for season 2. Now, thank you so much for tuning into the trailer, and I can't wait to announce and launch the first season of the Vacation Rental Micro School podcast. All right, how cool was that? Because after listening to it through this whole edit of this episode, I do realize that in the trailer I say there are 30 episodes. I'm completely wrong on that. There's going to be about 20, so not to get your hopes up, I will fix that trailer. Promise. But just want to get this out there to all of you Slick Talkers who have been such loyal listeners. We actually just had a crazy 2022 with the podcast becoming in the top 1.5% of podcasts globally. So thank you guys so much for getting us here. But I just know that there's power in the audience that we have built and the community that is around us. So I wanted to share this with you to get it on your radar before everything goes live. I'm really excited to share who our special guests are. I'm actually not going to do it on this episode, so just go ahead, look at the links in the show notes. I promise, please, 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 look at the links in the show notes. If we are not connected on LinkedIn, then connect with me on LinkedIn so that way you don't miss this. For anyone who's been in the space for 10 plus years, or anyone who's just now getting in the industry, these are the names that you want to be listening to. And they're passionate about what they do and their specialty in the industry. So it's just going to be perfect. I'm really excited. And again, thank you guys so much. If you like this episode and you're excited about this podcast, DM us, share this with a friend, do all the above. And I can't wait for 2023 to kick off on this foot with the VRMS podcast. Thank you so much. And we'll see you all again next week.